socialist party, and as such, they continue to align themselves with the likes of the Castro administration while Castro is alive, and now this Diaz while he's still alive. And they were very much involved with the Hugo Chavez of the Venezuela,
Well,
and still support the idea of us supporting Maduro,
yes,
despite the fact that the capitalist United States want nothing to do with this kind of socialist regime.
yes. No, no,
So
no, 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 no. Tell us a little bit about the Petra-Carib arrangement, Barry. Do you understand that what that was about?
well, I mean, it was, I think the Petro-Carib agreement was basically the Venezuelan authority trying to build relationship with CARICOM, you know, and providing them, using their whole socialist ideal to provide them with concessionary oil arrangements for the
Yes,
Caribbean. While it benefited us at the time, you know, the ideological framework and settings under which it came was not necessarily in keeping with what the United States want. And we have to understand that
yes,
we have a country to run, and we have to work with people who are better able to benefit us. And we have
yes.
to treat our relationship with some level of diplomacy, and make sure that whatever it is that we do, Jamaica and Jamaicans be first.
Isn't that the position that the Kamala Prasad, the Cesar, is taking in Trinidad?
I would want to think so. I mean, you have to look at those. You have to look for people who you think are best suited to help you and your country and your people move forward. And I don't think a Hugo Chavez, putting a Hugo Chavez before a United States of America would be in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Neither would it be in the best interest of Jamaica. No, you know, and look at what happened to a Hugo Chavez.
Yes.
If just to say Camila Prasad Bisesha were to put a Venezuela in front of the United States relationship, they probably would have been in a similar situation to the Chavez, in the sense that they would have been isolated. Their friends would have now been beheaded in terms of the leadership of the country, and they would become enemy or persona non grata to the United States, which you do not want to become. They are our major trading partners in the Caribbean. We're going to want to believe it. The United States economy is the largest in the world, which is followed close by China, which is pretty much half the size of the United States economy. And as large as China is in terms of population, there does not yield the kind of economic power that the United States wield.
True.
Yeah.
So we came out of the Petro-Carib agreement, did we not?
Of course we did, and we're still surviving.
Yes.
Our economy in the Caribbean, Jamaica's economy, has become the poster child of not just the Caribbean, but the entire world. I mean, and this is under the leadership of this current administration, whether or not anybody wants to give him credit for it. But never in the history, Jamaica was seen as a pariah, and leading up into 2010. But now Jamaica is seen as the poster child. We were seen as a basket case, as what people would want to put us. But now we're seen as the short bucket case, where we are actually the best economy to model. I mean, when it comes on to a third world nation, or developing state, as you want to call it, you know.
Right. No. Looking on at what happened over the weekend, Barry, there is a suggestion here in Jamaica that the people of Jamaica ought to be very happy that the Jamaica Labour Party won the September 3rd election, because had the PNP been in power, they probably would have deepened relationships with Venezuela. And what would that have meant for Jamaica?
Let me tell you, Neighbour, this if you look at the posture our Prime Minister took when Marco Rubio was elected, was appointed Secretary of State, and was talking about the relationship with the Cuban doctors and so on, right?
Yes.
If you look at that posture that the Prime Minister took, a lot of people were beating the Prime Minister for the posture that he took, where other governments across the Caribbean were being very verbose, you know. But the Prime Minister of Jamaica was very diplomatic in terms of keeping his silence and made negotiation be the way to deal with the issue. And if you look at how Marco Rubio responded to in the press conference, everything that he said, I am not talking Jamaica. I mean, he would have been clear to point out that Jamaica was different. And it was all it was, neighbor, was the kind of negotiation that took place behind the scenes with Marco Rubio and his team, which allowed, when the press conference took place, that everybody else was chastised. And while they were chastised in the Caribbean, he made it clear that he was not speaking about Jamaica, because Jamaica was different. And that was the kind of approach that our Prime Minister took. However, a neighbor, I don't care. Whoever wants to continue to give Andrew Holness basket to carry water, had it not been for the steady hand that he would have led this country in the last terms that he would have actually held this reins as Prime Minister, I don't know where this country would have been. Yes. So when you look at that, neighbor, think about what happens now. Where would Jamaica be in the thick of things?
Yes.
Now that the Venezuelan leadership would have been taken into custody, and there's a new regime change that is going to be put in place by the United States of America. And neighbor, Trump told you, this thing is bigger than just Maduro. It's actually taking back the largest reserve in the world. So it's a total shift in terms of geopolitics, where we used to depend on the Middle East
for oil.
Right. Now, what this would have done for the Western world would have given us the largest reserve of oil in the world. And having gotten hands on the largest reserve, we are no longer dependent on the Middle East and their oil for the oil that the Western world need. So we have become self-sufficient. Say that again, neighbor.
Including Russia.
Including Russia, right. And that would have put the United States back on top to make them continue to wield power right across the world, because the black gold is now in their hands. And neighbor, at the current price of oil, the reserve in Venezuela is valued at $18 trillion US.
What?
Right? $18 trillion. And if you sell that for half the price,
the reserve.
That's the reserve, right? So it puts United States, I mean, it would have actually bumped up United States economy significantly. And what Trump promised, you know what Trump says? What are you going to do with, how are you going to manage Venezuela? We're going to run Venezuela. We're going to bring in the oil companies. We're going to repair the wells. We're going to pump oil like you have never seen before, right? Which means that they have taken full control of this oil reserve.
Yeah. What does this mean for little Jamaica, though, in all of this? Our Prime Minister is the head of CARICOM. CARICOM, I think, met early this month.
Not anymore. He would have relinquished the position at the end of December. I'm thinking St. Kitts and Nevis now is the head of CARICOM. So pretty much, neighbor. Outside the fact that we have a very good relationship with the United States.
Yes.
Jamaica Labour Party also has a very good relationship with the Republican Party of the United States. Right. So if you notice the posture that we have been taking in terms of the kind of friendship that Jamaica is actually building with the United States, we are in a very good stead to benefit from whatever is happening in the United States right now. And neighbor, there are some interesting things happening in the world as we speak.
Yes.
The whole change of you know, the youth in the United States dollar was under pressure.
I didn't realize
nation,
that.
The BRICS nation, they were clamoring, coming against and actually forming trade between themselves, right? Now, this oil deal now would have pushed that ambition from these BRICS nation on the back burner somewhat, because now United States has actually taken a step forward to take back control of the world and ensure that the dollar becomes pole position again in the world. And neighbor, there's also a new development that a lot of people are not even focusing on in terms of how money will actually work going forward. If you were following what is happening in the United States, last year July, the Clarity Act was passed in the House of Parliament. A lot of people are not even paying attention to that in the houses of in the United States houses, right? The Clarity Act. Not the Clarity Act, the beautiful bill was passed in the House, right? Now the Clarity Act is slated to be passed in the House of Houses this year, and that will also speak to how money is moved right across the world. It will provide some level of clarity in terms of how money is moved. And if you hear there's a big thing going on in the United States and the whole issue of stable coins and how stable coin is going to be backed by the United States dollar and how things are going to be tokenized on the blockchain, which the stock market starting this quarter of 2026 will be tokenized and placed on the blockchain. When we know we'll begin to see Neighbour.
Stay tuned, Brian. I have to take a break. Hold on for me.
At my feet.
27 after 5 o'clock, we're with Barry and touching a little bit on the situation in Venezuela and world. There is the continued negotiation between the Ukrainians and United States over the war in Ukraine. And here we have news breaking over the weekend that the Americans moved into Venezuela, captured its leader and his wife, and during midnight capture, and Jamaica. Wow, many people are saying we're lucky. Is that so? Well, so Barry, let me get back to you. And so Barry, the truth of the matter is that the People's National Party does have a closer relationship with Venezuela than the Jamaica Labour Party. That is a fact.
That's a fact, Neighbour. That's a fact, you know. Neighbour, I wanted to make the point, Neighbour, right? That in addition to the whole oil issue, that we're now seeing the Clarity Act, Neighbour, will actually give rise to the whole issue of the Internet of Money, right? And coming this quarter, like I was saying, the United States stock market will be placed on the blockchain. Normally, we see the stock market opening from 9:30 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the evenings.
Yes.
Starting sometime in this quarter or by the second quarter of this year, the United States stock market will now open 23/7. It will be open 23 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And the only way that is going to be possible is when that is placed, this tokenized and placed on blockchains. And the SEC in the United States would have given permission for that to take place. So neighbor, there's a whole lot of thing happening, and if you are not into what is happening, you probably don't. When all of these things culminate, neighbor, and everything start to take shape, we are going to see a totally different way in terms of how the world operates. And neighbor, while we were watching what is happening in Venezuela, where the head of Venezuela and his wife was taken out, I don't know if anybody is taking note of what is happening in Iran. Iran is currently under siege by its people. Over 120 protests is taking place in every single city in Iran. The Ayatollah, or the head of Iran, right, is nowhere to be found. He's in hiding for the last 5 days. And the president of Iran would have come out and said that the coffers of the country is empty. 50 million people are now without drinking water in Iran, and Iran population is over 100 million. And so it is the slogan and the signal is death to the Ayatollah, right? So the possibility of unrest in the Middle East, right, is a likelihood, neighbor. And so this strategic move by United States come in the nick of time.
Yeah. Oh, well. So Barry, the suggestion in Jamaica that the political choice of the Jamaica Labour Party on September 3 was a wise one, because with these new developments, we don't know what other arrangements would have happened between the PNP and Venezuela, because it is a known fact that they do have good relations with Venezuela, better than that of the Jamaica Labour Party. I think that is an argument that is being made in Jamaica, that somehow Jamaicans better be thankful that the Jamaica Labour Party is in power at this time, without going too much into those details.
Well, I don't want to think so, never. And I tell you this, not because I'm a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, but the Jamaica Labour Party has always had better foreign relation policies than the People's National Party.
Yes.
Because we have always taken a position as a Jamaica Labour Party that we're always putting Jamaica and the Jamaican people first. Yeah, and it is not embedded in the whole issue of ideology.
Right.
We're always looking for the best interests of our people.
Enemy to none.
Friends to all, enemy to none. That has always been the approach that we have taken. And we're not in a position, whether it be financially or militarily.
Not, absolutely. To take sides.
Yeah. To take sides, right?
That is right. We're not in a position to take any sides at all. Well, Barry, we continue to watch this story, and I'm sure that much more is going to be said in the coming days as we seek to explore the backstory in this. No, Barry. Onto the whole matter of the biggest news in Jamaica is the whole matter of crime, Barry.
Murders down. Yes.
Closed the year, Barry, with under 700 murders. Barry, did you ever know that you would live to see this in Jamaica?
Never. It had become a norm, never. And I mean, I probably was just hoping that I would have been able to contain it at that level and not allow it to go beyond what we are accustomed to, right? But for this government and the police, right, with the support of the government, to be able to tell Jamaican people, not only tell us and show us that it is possible to bring crime down, it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's so real. And so, but one of the things I noticed, Neighbour, is the whole idea of how people are the detractors, are the people who have been singing the different Sankey, are trying to depeg this whole reduction in crime from the government's performance, and which is so disingenuous.
Yes, it is. Very much so, sir.
Yes. When all this time, Neighbour, they were calling for a crime plan. When the government gave them a crime plan, they were calling for details. They fought against the state of emergency.
Yes.
They talk about the whole issue of spending. Yes, they took the government to court, and they did every single thing in their power. And now that they would have seen where the government would have actually brought crime down in the last 3 years, consistently. So it was 9%, 18%, now 42%. What we're going to see next year? Are we going to be seeing 50%? You know? And so these people need to say, in the interest of Jamaica, come out and say, listen, we were wrong. We saw where the men and women of the police force did a very good job in terms of bringing the crime level down, making our people safer, causing over 300 people to be still with their families at this time. And it is something to be lauded by every single Jamaican, regardless of which political party you support.
It's a fantastic achievement,
It is.
Barry. And to think, Barry, that it was done during an election year.
Yes. That is even more credible. Neighbor, I mean, I am beside myself. You know, I am so proud to be a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, and just think how proud I am, neighbor, to be a Jamaican, right? At this point in time, to say, listen, as a people, we are able to work together and be able to save the lives of our fellow Jamaican. Neighbor, this is coming off the back of the fact that Jamaica would have actually been brought their economy to a point where we are now the poster child of the Caribbean coming out of COVID. I don't remember if anybody knew the challenges and the difficulties that we faced during the COVID era. Yes.
Before you go there, part of the narrative, though, is that whilst we have brought unaliving down, the state, in by virtue of the police, their numbers are up. And there's a narrative that it's almost as if we have transferred violence from one place to the other. Any concerns there?
Well, there's always going to be concerns on it, but when so many of our young men are being unalived by the state, and it begs the question, neighbor, of what kind of intervention that we're going to be putting, whether that be in our schools, in our community centers, whether that be through community policing, to kind of inform the young people that there's a better way. But the truth is, it's not like we are seeing, we have heard cases where people have said it was a case where people were actually unalived under questionable circumstances. But for the most case, the firearms were seized. Policemen in some cases were injured. Policemen in some cases were unalived, you know.
That's an area that we will have to address.
But neighbor, it is when you see the constant proliferation of young men taking up arms against the police forces. The security forces, it needs now, neighbor, a different kind of intervention for us to say we are going to start in our high schools, where we start a mentorship program with our boys from the age of grade 9, to say to them that, listen, there's a better way. Whether we have a enrollment in some uniform services within the school system itself, whether it be a compulsory situation where we teach them values and attitude, and to say, listen, we are going to train your minds to think differently. But it can't continue to be the same, because our young men are coming out of school thinking that the fast way of life is the best way for them. And it is not working out in their favor, and they are not learning.
Yeah. I think Barry, when you look at where we are going as a country and where we are coming from, and I know that sometimes these may be uncomfortable discussion, but it is what it is. We want to spare lives on every side, on both sides. Okay,
every side, both sides. Yes.
Yeah, we want to spare. Hold on, Barry. Go ahead.
I would love to see that the unaliving on both sides of the fence is down significantly.
Absolutely.
Where the police can boast that we have captured so many persons without a shot being fired. and we have put them behind bars and bring them before the courts for trial, when they would have perpetrated crimes. And we don't see the kind of unaliving, because neighbor, to think we need productive young people, and the people who are being unalived by the police and by the criminals, neighbor, are the most productive people that we have in our society. They are the right page for production.
Yeah,
right?
the Prime Minister Barry has been speaking about creating a society of peace. You know, so it is now the Ministry of National Security and peace.
Peace, yes.
You think that it is a cultural shift that is taking place, Barry? Because there's no question that we were a society where violence became part of our social interaction. That's how we interacted with each other, and therefore I think the pitch of the Prime Minister now is that we have to create a gentler society. Barry.
Yeah. And yeah, but in all fairness to PJ Patterson, you know I don't hold on the brief for, and I don't like his thing. He has seen this. He would have seen this from a long time, you know,
with the values and attitude campaign.
With the values and attitude campaign. Because the thing is that if the moral fabric of our society is so badly torn, it is so tattered. It is not easy. It is not easy to be mended, neighbor. So the truth is, we have to kind of.
But this is why, Barry, the fact that the administration has been able to reduce crime, murders, to the point where it is even more absolutely phenomenal, because they are doing it, Barry, in a society that you just described as being torn socially.
Yes, and it is a good move. And like I said, it is like now this having realized now that the moral values is so tattered that you know need to begin to weave the morals together to make them into the kind of moral fabric that we want to see our society portray, you know. And so with the whole idea of making a ministry of security and peace, which will now speak to greater social interaction with the people, greater partnership, greater community effort on the part of the police. And I would want to think that the Citizen and Justice Security Ministry, the Justice Ministry, through their mediation centers and through community organizations, neighbor, will begin to take a focus on how we are going to look at what are the programs we will put in place to kind of drive this kind of social moral agenda for our country that we want to see. And we have the institution, the Social Development Commission, which can actually help to lead the process once it is properly funded. I mean, the social workers can go out there, form community-based organization, and through these organization neighbors, we can actually begin to have these agenda pushed.
I hope you can spend a little more time with me. I want to talk to you about a little bit of politics. You have a few more minutes?
Not a problem, neighbor.
Hold on, don't move. 16 minutes to 6 o'clock, and we're staying with you until 7. Garfman and Olympic Way is online. We're coming to Olympic, then Garfman. Stay tuned.
Going down the street.
Hello, Neighbor Politics Plus is on a Sunday. Let's get back to the call. Let's get back to the callers. Olympic Way, you're on. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Good afternoon,
neighbor.
Barry's with me.
Good evening, Barry and Goffman.
Good evening.
Sunday. Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, neighbor. Where do you want me to start, or what's the question you're posing?
I wanted you to get to help me to understand the if you had a comment on the association with of the PNP with Venezuela. If you think that Jamaica today is lucky to have to have the Jamaica Labour Party in power rather than the PNP. There are some people arguing that it would have probably been a little bit ticklish for us because the PNP does have stronger ties with Venezuela than the Jamaica Labour Party. Any comment on that?
Yes, neighbor. So if you would have looked on the, as we would state it, the geopolitics from the 80s and the determination to stick with capitalism, stick with England and the United States was the art of what happened in 1980. Now, if we move from there into where we are now, we were very blessed, lucky. I don't know what else to say in terms of that narrow path that we came through to win this election. God sent, if I can add to it. Why, neighbor? It is because the leader that is running United States now would have made the same decision based on what we would have seen the opposition or the PNP party projections would have been, and the argument that they would have put forward against the president of the United States and the outlook in Ukraine and in the Gaza, and what their argument would have been. Now, as such, a line would have been drawn in the sand, like in the 80s, and would have to pay the price for that. But if I may add a little bit more, look on little Antigua and Barbuda and the little island of Dominica, where their leader shows ties with Venezuela, and you see what the outcome is. So the people that are here in the United States, Jamaicans, would not be able to send money there to Jamaica, nor would we, just looking on what happened to those small islands, nor would we be able to, the ones that are citizens wouldn't be able to try to come back home, nor the embassy would be giving visa to Jamaicans. You see where I'm coming from?
I absolutely do.
So if we just look on this thing and take it lightly, we are small brain. This is huge.
It is.
Neighbor, and the decision by the Jamaican people and the diaspora to support this prime minister, which is taking us forward in this global warfare, which we are so minute.
Yes, absolutely, sir. No, boy, I tell you, minute is putting it mildly.
Exactly, but yet we have a voice.
You know, Olympic way. I remember the Prime Minister saying that Jamaica doesn't even have 4 helicopters.
Exactly.
We didn't even have 4 helicopters to respond when Melissa struck. We had to call on the United States to send down their helicopters here to help us.
You see how quick they respond,
neighbor? Call on any from the Caribbean either.
But neighbor, look how quick they respond.
Well, yes.
You see how quick they respond, neighbor?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that tells you what my senator, or I shouldn't say senator, but my Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, would have come to Jamaica and state. Do you remember what he said?
You bet I do.
Jamaica is the United States' best ally in the Caribbean. So we must not take that lightly. And America is the superpower of the world. Are we sick in our brain when we ask for certain things, neighbor? Neighbor, we must know what we want. Now, you would have asked also, PJ Patterson would have gone into deeper relationship with the Petro-Carib thing. Because remember now again, neighbor, we had sold Petrojam, our refinery, to Venezuela.
Yes.
Right?
Parts of it.
Are parts of it, right? Which would compromise Jamaica in all of this again. And the foresight of our present Prime Minister would have caused us to be I would say God
they bought back Petrojam, right?
Yes, he had bought it back and settled off all the debts. I think it was 75 million US or something like that. Those two great men, the Minister of Finance and this Prime Minister, is two great Jamaican men, you know.
Probably may still have that, you know, Olympic, we may still have that money in our coffers, you know, because we can't. I think there's an embargo and
yes, but we don't have it. They would have put it in a US account, if you remember.
In a US account, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the Prime Minister spoke about that. So as such, Neighbour,
Thank you for that piece of information, Olympic way.
Yes, sir, no problem. So we are such a lucky. Twice luck came our way, you know, 1980 and today, and what we did on September 3 has given us an opportunity now to stay focused and to develop Jamaica as the place it ought to be. Now, I'll touch on crime, Neighbour, and then I'll yield. Now, we have had 9,000 officers in the police force when Andrew Holness took over. 4,000 soldiers, right? And we had one helicopter that wasn't good. We didn't have any planes. We didn't have any ships. We didn't have a proper training center. We had to expand the training to more than one location. Right. So, and we didn't have uniforms for the officers. We didn't have arms itself. With the expansion of what this administration has done, they would be able to gather more information on what the government would deem gangs. And do you remember how much gangs were out there?
I don't remember the exact amount, but it was quite a bit, eh?
Over 300. Now, Neighbour, when you put that number, and if you multiply it by five per gang, it would take you somewhere about 1,500 plus human beings, because women are involved also. Okay? 1,500 it would take you per persons involved. Now, if 1,500 people are involved, Neighbour, we increase the number of our security forces and our intelligence within the news gathering. We would have seen where the gangs would have stepped up, if it's not 2023, 2024, where they start to rob the banks.
Well, they started to attack these trucks carrying
Good, but remember that before they did they started to attack the banks in Portmore, and they went down to Negril. You remember?
I think it was more Western Unions that they were doing, right?
They did Western Union, the bank machines. They were bank all machines, over the place, cementing themselves. And then they started to do the Brinks. Yes. So Neighbour, so let us look on it now. So within 10 years, you know, of this administration takeover, I would say for the past 4 years, would have got a grip on it. Now, look on the 1,500 that you have, right? The 1,500 human beings that would have been involved in criminal activity.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look on that number for this year or the year past, the dent that we are talking about that people would have been, or human beings would have been dying, and we would deem it bad on the police, or the police taking unaliving too much people in their quest to gain back control would be a minute number.
That is not accurate, though, you know. It is not in their quest to gain back control. It would be confrontation.
Good. Thank you for that. Good. So let me summarize it, and you can take over from here. So it would be normal, because of the confrontation, for people lose their life in this process. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I don't want to sway it away, so it is lost. But the next year should be less people with confrontation, because the core
on both sides.
Yes,
you
sir.
think that we are going to be able to maintain this crime reduction on unaliving
Yes.
with or below 500?
Yes, because remember, he had concentrate on the core of the criminal acts. He would have reduced the 300 number to 100 now.
And you are saying that the violence producers,
yes, sir, that's the
them
word,
would have been unalived.
Yes.
Wow.
And remember now,
that is a sad reality, but a reality nonetheless to be examined.
Right, neighbor, you can't forget that people were getting 5 and 10,000.
There was a time Olympic Way when the society was like a conveyor belt.
Yes.
Producing.
Yes.
Do you think we have stemmed that?
Yes, we have, because and why would I say it would have? A lot of these men that would be committing crime for past 10 years, if you notice now, they are being caught.
Caught?
Yes, sir. You have one instance in St. Elizabeth, you have one in Westmoreland, where crimes that were committed 2020, 2014, 2015 coming up, these same people now would be coming to the fore for more reasons than one. So people are letting the police know who these people are. Remember now, neighbor, when a man becomes wanted and he goes into hiding, the gangs pick him up and he becomes a soldier of the gangs now, That's
I want
how
to be
it works.
balanced. I want to be balanced, though Olympic Way. And I'm raising the concern that I've heard that whilst we have done well in terms of the unaliving,
yes,
the state would not have done as well in terms of their unaliving. And you are saying that it was unavoidable.
Good, because of the numbers and their and their power and what they believe they have. So the confrontation.
In other words, it was an all-out attack, an attack on the state.
Yes, sir.
And the state won.
Yes, sir. That's it. So the state has to respond, and and because of the brazeness or the brazing of these different gangs and people within it want to show their power, then the state is left with no alternative. They attack, the state is going to do what they have to do to keep Jamaica safe, and I think that's the key to it.
Well,
hey, neighbor, yeah. I heard that statistics. I was listening to the news. That one police division cleared up 136% unaliving in this year. You heard what that? 136% of unaliving this year alone, right. Which means that they would have cleared up 100% of all the unaliving that took place in their division, plus 36% of those that took place prior to.
Exactly, neighbor. So you get where I'm coming from. So the numbers are gonna drop on both sides.
Yeah. Are we a more peaceful society though, Olympic Way? Do you sense that Jamaicans are more peaceful in their interactions with each other? And as a result of that, there's going to be less violence permeating the society 2026?
I think we are going there, but we are not there in any considerable number. Why, neighbor? Is because the people have the confidence in the police force now to relate issues to them and to go for, I don't want to say mediation, but if an issue arises, how it is dealt with. Now, what the government has to do now is to start to take civil or basic laws, start to, like for argument's sake, your garbage collection and people paying to do wrong. You pee on the side of the road, there's a fine. We start to implementing those stuff, then it will calm down all of the negatives and the issues that we may have and allow us to be a more calmer society and a more relative society.
6 o'clock in Jamaica. Hold on. Saying good afternoon to Caroline. She's in St. Mary. I understand it's raining. Raining in St. Mary. As a matter of fact, St. Catherine too. Raining since last night. Some flooding in St. Mary.
We go blowing down.
The churches met today. A lot of people in churches suggesting that Mr. Warmington is correct. Churches shouldn't get any money. I tell you. Wow.
We don't have.
By the way, Barry, tell me, Barry, according to your Travi, Barry, how do you think the economy would have contributed to this reduction in unaliving? The performance of the economy, Barry?
Neighbor, I mean, the economy has to be able to support the kind of infrastructure that the police need. Whether it be resources that the police need, neighbor, in terms of human and physical resources to be able to carry out the work. And over time, neighbor, it's the capacity of the economy to be able to provide the resources. And so it plays a very significant role in ensuring that the police has what they want to be able to do the job that they are doing, including the human resources. And that takes a lot of money.
Yeah, but Barry, am I not correct that the credit for this reduction in crime ought to go to the government, because isn't it driven, Barry, by policies? And when you think of the economy and what the economy did in terms of providing the resources for this, that's the government, Barry. It is the government that did this.
Never everything that happens in the country is a reflection of the government policies, right? With the perhaps possible the exception of what churches do, every other organization, every other agencies in the country rely on government policies and resources. The government capacity to provide the resources, your set policy and your capacity to provide the resources to the different organizations or agents at the state to be able to carry out the duties, right? Or carry out the policy that is set by the government. And so the economy plays a very significant role. And so when this prime minister took office, the first order of the day was to kind of install a finance minister, a team of people in finance would have been able to carry out a policy position that will generate growth within the economy, stabilize the economy, be able to free up resources so that the state can provide the resources for the policies that it will upset. So neighbor, you can have the best of policies put in place, but if you don't have the resources to actually put those policies to work, you won't get the results that you need. And so this government has to be credited.
Yeah, some people have argued, Barry, that the PNP was not as bad as you made them out to be. They just didn't have the resources to do the things that they needed to have done. What do you think about that argument? They're broke.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and that is what made them a bad government, because they did not put themselves in a position to garner the resources.
Yes.
Never, when Andrew Owners.
Yeah, you can't do it
when
without
Andrew Owners lost the first election. No. So I'm saying when Andrew Owners lost the first election, neighbor, he told you that he was going to administer bitter medicine. And the bitter medicine, sometime I wonder if it was if he had given up that election, because he probably would not have been in for a third term had he won that first election, because the bitter medicine had to be administered, right?
Yeah.
And so having administered the bitter medicine and continue to administer the bitter medicine and to heal the sick. And when the sick start to heal, they become more productive. And once you become more productive, you are able to do more work. And that's how the economy works. The economy had to be healed.
Are you telling me, Barry, that should the PNP, had the PNP, if the PNP had gotten this economy in the healthy state it is, that they would have directed? Are you not saying that?
Of course, because I mean the pronouncement of the opposition leader would have been telling you that's economy can't yam. I mean, and you need to give the people the resources, neighbor. Let me tell you something, neighbor. Let me give you a scenario. Neighbor, if you want to have water, you know, to be able to send on to the people, you know, how do you get water to be able to flow into people's pipe? You have to dam the river, you know. And when you dam the river, neighbor, the water is built up. And when the water is built up, neighbor, you actually be able to send it out to people in a greater quantities. If you continue to allow the river to flow and expect everybody to extract water from the river, you won't be able to send it to as many people as you are able to send it to when you dam it. And that is what we have to do with the economy. So when people tell you that we have to grow the economy in order to be able to reach the poor and reach everybody, you have to grow the economy, you have to develop and dam the resources so you can pass it out to the people. So when you hear people talk about we must run through the raindrops, it's a very delicate thing. So you have to be able to dam. Not that we're going to neglect, but we have to have some damming. We have to build up the resources in the economy so we can reach out to the people. And that's what the government is doing, growing the economy. And at some point it will begin to trickle down to the people. But you can't trickle down what you don't have. And the kind of rhetoric I hear from people, neighbor, where we are saying that the government is focusing on growth, focusing on economy and not focusing on the people. We can't do both at the same time, because you have to make sure that you have the resources in place. So some belt tightening have to go on, some bitter medicine have to be administered. And when the economy gets better, then you are now able to better serve your people.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Travi, and don't move in a Barry, because just started.
I'll run Neighbour so somebody else can come. Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Select what's the name right here? He was on before me. You could go to him and give me Select International. Give me a few minutes to get back to you. I really want to be a part of the conversation. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Select International. Are you there, sir? Hi. Good afternoon, sir. Hi.
Neighbor, how are you doing?
Come true. Hi.
How are you doing? Everything, Chris?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
Yeah. I'm trying to get that thing set up. She did on a vacation, so she said when she come back of a vacation, we get it set up.
No problem.
All right.
What go on? What's a go on?
No, me just there watch the thing we're going with Venezuela and US, you know. So
yeah,
we just watch what we're going, you know, and that we can say. But I guess the people of Venezuela appreciate Trump, so we don't have nothing else to say.
Yeah. Stay on the line, brother. Stay on the line.
But now I know. Only hurt myself. Oh, bring it to me. Bring your sweet love.
The shipment has arrived in Jamaica. The containers.
No, it don't arrive. It don't arrive as yet.
You have a comment on the achievement of the government, sir, in terms of our ability to reduce crime in Jamaica this year? How you feel about that?
Listen, neighbor, I feel great because I come to Jamaica last year and I went to the police expo in Arena in Kingston, Jamaica. Only thing I can tell you, say, the police force back then and the police force now is total different thing. When I meet the commissioner, they bring me into a room. I mean, they must show me the four corners of Jamaica on a flat television TV. They telling me that is live camera. Live camera. I think when me see it, I think me check somebody in America same way.
You mean the police are watching the whole of Jamaica live on camera?
Live on camera.
Yeah, we can see too now, neighbor, from here. So I can see Kingston, downtown Kingston,
neighbor. If you type in Jamaica,
see Jamaica.
If you type in Jamaica on YouTube, you watch everything live. You can't know when Flatbridge flood out from when it no flood out.
It's called See Jamaica. Yeah. On YouTube, yeah.
So
So we're watching the storm. We were watching the storm.
Neighbor,
on
I forgive the
YouTube.
man them credit. The man them say right now, the man them can't the camera them have
The police took you in a room and show you that.
and show me that live camera. The camera them have, the camera can detect it if you have a gun on you. The way the camera them set up. I'm telling you. So by the time you are do your crime, they must see everything, neighbor. That's all the country going. We can't see half a tree,
And this is
crossroad.
this is not state secret, sir. You're not letting out state secret here.
No, not secret.
No,
It's public. They tell you. They tell you.
See Jamaica. Neighbor, there are some cameras that are not publishing on Neighbor.
You understand?
But there are some cameras, the major town centers are published.
Neighbor,
but
when
I
the
mean,
government tell you that him deploying 2,500 camera all over that island, take it serious. It's real life. Something the guys them show me. Real life. Real life.
Wow. So it is technology at work.
The technology at work right now is nothing normal. Nothing
Jamaica.
normal. Neighbor, when I see it, I cannot believe. So neighbor, between me and you, right now they say they're going to GPS the whole country. So if you thief a car and think you're going to escape, they're going to track you by within that license plate number on the car.
Yes.
So the only way you can escape, the only way you can escape without them catch you, you have to jump out of the car without they catching you. But once you thief a car and they give them that license plate number, they can track the car every corner you go in Jamaica. That is what the government gonna build out next. The next. So looking out, the country is growing. I'm telling you.
My goodness, hold on, sir. You hear that, listeners? I didn't even know that. Wow. Jamaica is coming to my goodness. Wow. Jamaica, wow. Oh, Jamaicans, you should be proud of yourselves, proud of your country, and proud of your Prime Minister. This is fantastic news on this Sunday. I heard the Prime Minister say the bad man.
Hey, neighbor, don't cut me now. Neighbor, don't cut me. You see, all the police.
I'm not cutting you. I'm not cutting you. Coming back to you. Hold on. No, I'm not cutting you.
That's on YouTube and TikTok. The bad mind, the Jamaica Labour Party for its performance. The bad mind, the Jamaica Labour Party for its performance. The bad mind, the Jamaica Labour Party for our achievements. And they are bad mind.
Why I tell you, the Prime Minister said the bad minus. Go ahead, sir. You're rearing to
neighbor.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, neighbor. What they tell me that you see the crime fight, the man them a fight technology war. What technology, the man them the top class technology man I use now. Neighbor, normally one time you have the bad guys and walk with gun at daytime, nighttime. You have to hide your gun right now. Come and tell you see the drone, they can stay like about 5 miles from the community when they want going on. And they just fly the drone over the community and map the whole community. So it's whatever them going.
Hold on. Are you not speaking about security matters that probably should not be spoken about, sir?
Public knowledge. It's public knowledge. It's actually public knowledge. Thermal sensing. You see, all that he's mentioned. It's all that he's mentioned. Just 1 minute, brother. All that he mentioned and all that.
No.
It all falls under Secure Jamaica. the same Secure Jamaica mandate and plan that Mr. Duncan is saying the country needs to get behind. He has seen the legislation. He has looked over the plan. Plan Secure Jamaica. It is what is paying these dividends. It is in this plan that they get more boots on the ground, more police presence in community, more vehicles, more equipment, more technology. Secure Jamaica. But go ahead, brother.
Right.
Continue with the details.
Hold on.
The bad mind us. The bad mind the Jamaica Labour Party for its performance. The bad mind the Jamaica Labour Party for our achievements. And they are...
I think that's true. What a little country coming to terms, eh? You see why it is important to have leadership? Leadership matters, you know. Leadership matters.
Neighbor, I don't know how. I don't know. From here, I never see so much investment going at the police force until now. When I say neighbor, you cannot, when you in your community and you think say you're gonna walk brawling out in the street with a gun, just make sure say you look over your head. You think them not see you? Them see everything. That is the technology we are run right now.
They see you using drones.
Yeah. It's real thing, real life. The man tell me that when I go and see everything lay out, brother. Everything. I cannot believe. The man say, where you coming from? I say, I don't live in Jamaica. I say, I live in the US. And the man directly take me behind scene and I show me everything. Everything. Neighbor, you live at Jamaica, you need to go at these things and know what's going on.
Yes, you're right about that. I will.
It's a serious thing. When they keep those things, you know, they try to educate the public, you know. You understand? They try to give the public update what's going on in the country.
Yes.
You see normally, you see the technology there, the port and them something there. It's not normal right now, you know.
What you saying to me, sir?
The man them make the investment them. Once them can lock down the port and lock down the sea, them send nothing in, nothing out. I saw the man them are sending right now. When the man them show me the technology. The technology is normal, man. Top tier technology the man them have, brother. Top tier.
Well, little Jamaica, sir. Little Jamaica, you make me having goosebumps here, man. Hold on. Can't believe me, I cannot believe me, Up top, brother.
Hey, neighbor.
Yes, Barry.
I one of the things people don't need to understand, you know, that you have drones that are the size a little bit bigger than a mosquito, you know, neighbor. Right? That can be flown and sit right at on your premises and listen to everything where you're chat saying, you know, neighbor.
We have to create peace, sir. We have to create peace. Oh.
You know what is shocking to me is how surprised even the chat is of this information when even at Grand Gala, if you pay attention to the displays, they were showing off the technology, the drone technology, the thermal heat technology, wherein they stood outside that little makeshift building and could see where exactly the person is standing inside the building. And then they would have decided their approach in terms of entering the building to apprehend that person. We have these technologies and it has been on display. So I'm a little bit surprised that most people didn't know that all of this exists.
No, Travis, you see, the thing is what you find, you know, a lot of people are not taking the time out to actually getting themselves acquainted with what the development has taken place. They are more so into just what people tell them. So you have to be observant, because the government is not going to come out and tell you what it is doing in terms of all of its secret or how they are approaching the crime, you know.
Yeah,
and it is good. It is good for us. It is good for us. And basically, if I'm gonna give you an example. I was in Jamaica over the Christmas holidays, and there was a shooting in March Pen, right? And within probably hours after that shooting, the perpetrators of those shootings were cornered and killed by the police and unalived by the police. I'm not sure if you are aware of that. You know, now where did that information come from? You know what I mean? And how they were able to find these people so quickly. So once upon a time, people used to depend on police getting to the scene immediately. Police can get into the scene by driving from where they are. Police can get to the scene immediately by flying a drone onto the shooting zone, where the sound is coming from, and observe what is happening there while their team is en route to the area. You know, so a lot of, Neighbour, it's just that I'm so happy with the technology and how it is evolving and how it is protecting our citizens and keeping our young people alive in Jamaica.
Well, I tell you, I'm so proud. I'm sitting here so proud of my country. By the way, Travi, good afternoon to you, sir.
Blessings. What a beautiful conversation. Neighbor, you're doing a good job. Neighbor, listen, if nobody told you today, you are doing a good job, and you're running a fantastic program. Very informative. Very informative. And the way how you run the program, the way you're able to keep this calm and flowing, very good. Very good. Not chaotic. And it's beautiful. You know, I've been listening for a while before I was able to actually come on. And listening, when it was just you and Barry alone, I've been listening this whole time. And you asked a few questions that I wanted a chance at answering. One that comes to my mind right now, when you asked that, should the government be credited for the reduction in crime and the change in how things is in Jamaica? My answer to that is yes, because what we see now is a result of the plan Secure Jamaica. Now, how plan Secure Jamaica work is by financing the security forces and getting in all the right equipment. Barry stated earlier that we had only one helicopter. We had just one broken down naval vessel. We are up to 7. We have 21 speedboats to be added to the fleet that has already been paid for and is being manufactured now. We have an additional 5 boats that was given to the Japanese government. We have Jamaica Eye being expanded. At one point, we took in 2,500 cameras and had them installed. Olympic Wear, as my brother's name was on earlier, Olympic Wear is under 24/7 monitoring, right? And that is in the Prime Minister's constituency, 24-hour monitoring. As the brother has been saying to you, these cameras are sensitive. They're able to detect certain things, right? And Barry alluded to something just now about getting on the scene. And I want to just bring my point together real quick. In terms of the numbers coming down, one of the reasons for the numbers coming down is more presence. And you asked the question if we're at peace, and I agree with Olympic. No, we don't have peace yet. But there is this reluctant nature in the society to just act impulsive because of the way the police force is. Jamaica is realizing that this is a totally different JCF in terms of its investigative capabilities.
It's going to require a kind of a culture shift going forward. Because there's no question that the society is emerging from a place of war.
Yes.
Where violence was part of how we interacted. Just how we interacted.
And it was a part of the music. I remember you saying that. I'm glad you repeated. I wanted to add to that even our music.
Yeah.
We need to have a cultural shift where the music is, because it normalizes and it amplifies acts of violence. So subconsciously, it's just in our heads.
Yeah, not only that, but the acts of impunity by criminals were because they knew that they could not be caught. They are more careful now.
Easily. they know that they would easily get away because the fleet in terms of the police being able to move around was very small. The boots the number of boots on the ground was a small number. Now we have more boots on the ground. We have more police who are focusing on investigation and solving cases that are able to track people and track their movement and even listen to them in some cases. Because if somebody alluded to the foiled robbery in Negril with those I think it was 4 or 5 young men that the police had confronted and they have gone on. Basically, when you listen to the report, they have been tracking those young men because they're a part of a plan, and the hit was foiled because they know what they were planning.
Yes.
This is the technology that Secure Jamaica brings. It secures our border and it also beef up security and technology within the country.
Right. Neighbor, when last I go downtown?
I go there regularly.
All right, Neighbor, you see Earwood Street, Hanover Street, Luke Lane, Matches Lane, all them street there. Camera upon all them road there.
I see. I didn't realize that. Hold on there,
you need to look up. You need to look up. Don't look down. You need to look up.
Yes, I'm here.
Let me ask you though, Travi. The criticism though is that whilst we have done so well on the side of unaliving, the side of the state,
right,
is not done so well, and it concerns many, including persons outside of Jamaica, that too many people have been victims on that side. What is a comment you would have on that in terms of why is that so?
Yeah, but this is why I had to give you the commendation that you're running a beautiful program, because this was one of the beautiful questions you asked when I wasn't on, and it's one of the things that I was trying to remember while, you know, as you allow me to speak just now, and I'm glad you bring back up this question. Thank you for this question. Now, Neighbour, my answer to this is, remember, the JCF back then was 9,000, right? The investigative capacity was next to none, right? The presence within the community, especially hotspot areas, was next to none. When you have a security force that is almost doubled in size, you will have more work, more input coming out of the police force. Because I guarantee you, if we're up to 14,000, 15,000 back in the 90s, the number on the side of the JCF would be run about these numbers. Neighbor, remember, you know, back then, we had one squad that had to take care of the entire island in terms of going out to look for the most vicious and hardened criminals to try and track them down and apprehend them. And that squad was being led by Renito Adams. And if him touch in St. James and him go on a spot, we know what's the outcome. But now we have moved away from having that one squad, and where we have equipped each police division to take care of these things, to be able to pursue and apprehend the most hardened criminal in that area, and to be there, to be present there continually. So the numbers on the JCF is as a result of having a bigger force that has more capabilities. So basically, they're getting more work done, because here's the flip side of it. With a smaller force, you see that let's say 300 people, when I say being unalive, those 300 would have gotten away. And what would have been their crime?
Well, that's a brilliant way to look at that. I didn't see through that. So with these people now out of the picture, because I mean, make no bounds about it, the numbers are concerning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is because we have a bigger force. So we are able to go after more criminals. So you're going to have more arrests. Have they given the number about arrests? Have they given the number about prosecution? I bet you right now, Mr. Neighbour, that those numbers has gone up too, because we have more police boot on the ground. So automatically there'll be more output.
Fantastic. I like that explanation. No, you when you look though in terms of projecting forward, do you think, for example, the society is producing these violent creators at any rapid pace? Do you think the society is creating more?
Yes, we are creating minister society, if I may put it that way, at a higher scale than back in the day, because the truth is, neighbor, more children or more young men are dropping out of school, and they're dropping out of school even earlier, because years gone by, you have people who stop at 10th grade or maybe 11th grade. We have young men leaving school as early as the 8th grade, or second farmers would have called it, and they're going into scamming, they're going into all manner of things. And we know with the fast life, crime is just right there with it. The road to the fast life and crime just run parallel, and oftentimes we lose our young people because these two roads collide and crisscross ever so often.
But how are we going to stem that though, Travi? I mean, that's not good.
It comes to the cultural shift that you mentioned, and not only the cultural shift, but I can't wait for the full establishment of the STEM schools and the reform of the education system that exists in Jamaica, because I believe that these are valuable and very integral ingredients in capturing the minds of our young men earlier, giving them better opportunity in terms of education at an earlier age. Because, neighbor, imagine we have more specialized school in Jamaica, and we have, because a lot of these young men, who have taken to the fast life, they are good at something, they're either good at math, reading, or some special skills is in these young men, because I lived the Jamaican life, and many of my skilled peers go off the road because they have the skill, they have the ability, but no opportunity. And as we get better in terms of reforming the education system, as we establish these STEM schools, as we establish the teaching profession, reform the teaching profession, right? And building out more schools, building out more schools, because I think personally, it's my personal belief that the classrooms are too big. I believe teachers would reach more students better if they had if the class sizes, if they have smaller class sizes. Thank you for that correction. If they had, and Barry is a teacher by profession, and I would love to hear your view on this, Barry. I am of the view that the classroom sizes, the size or the amount of students in one class, if we can build out more schools so that we can reduce this number, teachers will be better able to reach more students within their classrooms.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
And while we see some overcrowded, especially some urban schools, in the rural areas, we would have seen the numbers coming down nicely, where we are able, because the population in the rural schools are dwindling, and so the numbers are coming down nicely to align with the 1 to 25 in a classroom setting. But it's pretty much in the urban centers that we are seeing the overcrowding, which over time with the new with new schools being built, and the new bus system, we can zone students to different areas where the population size is not as great as in urban centers, So I think those reforms are coming, where children will be zoned to close to their communities, and the bus system will be able to facilitate transporting to and from school. As against, somebody actually live in Clarendon and pass for Campion College and having to travel from Clarendon all the way into Campion College, when there's a Glenmuir down in Clarendon, which is also a very good institution. So those are some of the things that I honestly believe that the education system will look at. But one more thing I think that we need to focus on is, like, our schools need to be fit for purpose, in the sense that we will need to look at what is happening, and we need to begin to train our students to fit the purpose of the society, so that when a child leaves school, whatever he's doing is geared towards making him marketable, whether he goes on to tertiary institution or goes into the world of work. And we need to go back to a trade-based technical school system where a lot of our students who are not necessarily academically inclined. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're not educated. If you are a carpenter, you're educated. If you're a mason, you're educated. But people believe that education is just being able to pass 5 and 6 CXCs. You know what I mean? So we need to take back that technical focus to our school system.
And Barry, you refined the point that I was making beautifully, wherein I said that a lot of young men, they have a certain skill, they have a certain talent that we could have seen from early, but the opportunity to build on that was missed. You made such a profound point. A lot of the young men, yes, they may not be the most brightest spark in the room, but they are skilled and they are brilliant at something. And if you can encourage them by taking them and having them to focus at what they're good at, then we are able to produce better young men, better plumber, better mason, as you mentioned, or better carpenter, because they are already good at it. And we give them the opportunity to expand on that. And I believe we can get a better individual. So I love even the point that you make. And I'm glad the government is moving in this direction.
Yeah, Travi, the society, though, I don't think appreciates where we are at. When you examine and you speak about the achievements in crime and the multiplier effect, how many lives have been saved, this demands a public holiday, Travi. But what is happening in Jamaica? Well, you know, we got a public holiday when we qualified for the World Cup.
True.
If we save hundreds of lives, we should celebrate that. What is happening in the society? Why we have become so detached from these type of realities and speak mostly about the mundane stuff, and these things are not even on the headlines. I heard a call talking to Nationwide and saying that the 2 major TV stations in Jamaica didn't even bring it as part of their newscast for the first day of the year.
Yes, I just thought about that. Yeah, me not see that. Me not see them analyze it.
Yeah.
And I say to your neighbor, you see, even as you mentioned the part of the major media outlets, it goes to show the political divide that exists in this country. And as you said, that the talk is always about the negative side, so to speak. And I believe that is because it's the naysayers that are being the loudest out here. You know, they say those barrels makes the most noise. I think that's the case. Because whether you believe it or not, well-thinking Jamaicans, sensible Jamaicans, home and abroad, appreciate the difference in the crime statistics that exist in Jamaica. Because the truth is, even the person who is arguing right now about the police's performance, they also desire a safe Jamaica. Not just for themselves, but for their children and grandchildren. So the truth is, we all desire a safe Jamaica. And I find it, neighbor, you know what I find most disheartening is that we spend months, or they spend months, clamoring for a crime plan. We need crime to come down and too much people are dead. And no, there's a reduction. You're crying about something else. When the matter is as simple as we have a bigger force, so they will have more output.
Well, I don't think that side of the story was seen.
It's being told. It's being told.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But what you think is going to be the results this year, Travi? How do you see things unfolding on the crime front?
On the crime front, as if we can keep at it in terms of keep expanding, keep growing in technology, keep building the community relation with the police and the community relations, I believe the 400 target that has been set can be achieved. I do believe we can come down to as low as 400 and even less, because it is a multi-pronged approach that they have been applying, and we must continue to apply. Improve the police force, improve its capacity, get closer with the community. And the citizens now, because we've been talking about the force. Let me jump ship for a minute. The citizens of Jamaica, we have to get on board. Keith Duncan said this in the Senate most recently, and we must pay attention to it, given who Keith Duncan is, his family ties and history. We must pay attention to it, to what he had said. Because this man should be a PMP true and true. But here he is, a Jamaica Labour Party senator, choosing to serve his country over party. Stated that Jamaica benefiting from the nation getting behind the fiscal rules as they were being introduced in 2010. It's the same way the entirety of Jamaica needs to get behind the plan to secure Jamaica.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen. So that's I lean into the citizens now to say to my brothers and sisters, don't let this talk about informer or whatever get you to not cooperate with the police. Work with the police, and when you see them, commend them for the good job they're doing.
Yes, sir, but I've been trying to get someone from the government to talk about Plan Secure Jamaica. It's been the most difficult thing to do. Plan Secure Jamaica is a best kept secret, you know, Travi. I don't think it has got the type of publicity that it ought to, and the type of discussion. I look at it. It's a massive.
You know why? You know why? You know why all angles and them programs are political? They are political because these are the forums that these conversations should have been had. But the people of Jamaica have to move away from these programs because they're not talking about the things that is important to the Jamaican people. They're playing politics. And that's why so many of us have to converge here at TikTok.
Government wrote Plan Secure Jamaica.
Travis.
Should go 4 terms.
Travis.
Hold on, brother. Let me hear Neighbour, and then we'll come to you. Give me 1 second, Select International. Let me hear Neighbour. Neighbour, repeat that.
No, sir. I am saying to you that I looked at Plan Secure Jamaica. It is a masterpiece of document, sir. It is the best I have seen produced by any government. I must tell you the truth. It is really comprehensive.
And I tell you, Neighbour, I tell you, it is being held down because guess what? You see, if this is supported nationally and it gets the rollout it ought to get, that is an arsenal, is a weapon in Mr. Holness's political arsenal. And guess what? You know it's a fight for power, so they can't allow that. Just like NIDS. NIDS is a part of the plan, you know?
Yes, I know.
NIDS is a part of the plan.
The legislative changes that needs to be made, the investment in the security force. It is very comprehensive. But you know, Travi, I'm running out of time. I only have another 15 minutes.
Neighbour,
no
problem.
Neighbour,
I want to say this before I go. 1 second investment.
Hold on.
Two questions we have to ask.
International are coming back to you. Hold on. Let's go to Barry, then we come to you. Hold on.
All right, Neighbour, before I go, I just want to say this. Jamaica has put themselves in a position to take advantage of all of the changes that is going to happen within the world in 2026 and beyond. With a former finance minister in the name of Nigel Clark, who would have actually gone ahead and actually created the Jamaica digital exchange, the digital currency. He would have actually put in place a framework for the needs. So what will happen, Neighbour, when the framework of the whole Internet of Money, stablecoin, and blockchain technology comes into place, as it is being done in the United States right now? Jamaica is in a position to actually take advantage of all of the changes that will take place, and we will not be left behind. I want to say to you and all the people who are listening, we did a very good thing when we made Jamaica Labour Party the government for the last 3 terms. And if you think it's not yet, watch what is going to happen in the next 4 years and into the next term. And Neighbour, thanks for having me. And I want to say to your panelists, good night and good conversation. I'm going to take on some work, preparing for work tomorrow morning.
Take care of yourself.
God bless you. Take care, sir.
All right, 14 minutes to 7 o'clock. We have to check out at 7, all right? Travi remains with us and Select International. Hold on. please remember that we return tomorrow. Let's end with a little policy. So Travi, how do you see the? Are you there, sir? Are you there? Hello.
Man, I'm here.
Yeah, Travi, how do you see the political landscape in Jamaica now over the next year? I was looking at something today, Travi, that suggests that Holness would have broadened his appeal and has significant political capital with momentum well behind him. My understanding is that the People's National Party have admitted that none of them over there can beat him, and therefore they are looking outside to see if they could recruit someone from outside. Are you hearing that?
I am not hearing that.
Hold on, neighbor. No, hold on before you go to that. May I ask you 2 questions?
Go ahead. We get back.
Why Jamaican make the international stage always give them credit? Why we Jamaican can't give the Prime Minister credit?
Because a king don't usually get crowned in his own country.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And Jamaica is very politically divided, my brother. Very, very politically divided. And like I stated earlier, the detractors are very loud.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to a funeral? Select. Have you ever gone to funerals?
Yeah, I've gone to funeral over here.
You must see the amount of flowers they carry come them, man.
The amount of flowers, but when you're dead, them not. When you're alive, them not show give the flowers. Right. That's why when me listen, neighbor, the last funeral me got, my friend have cancer, and she called me and she try to get some money to borrow from me, but which are the family member them are pressured, but she have cancer. She need just love and support to go to where she got to, neighbor. And the family member who have insurance policy who have this. So it's my speech when me go to the funeral, we just blaze up everybody. I'ma say, listen, you see all of them roses when I throw them on her castic, you know mean nothing to her. When she alive, you know give her the roses. But why when you're dead, them a throw all of these roses for your castic? No, give me when me alive. When it me dead and gone, it no matter to me. Why that like that?
The hypocrisy that exists.
I don't believe
kind of like human nature.
I never bring rose to a funeral yet go put on a castic. Me try to give people roses when they're alive.
True.
Don't wait till somebody dead. Don't wait till somebody dead to give them the rose. It come like an insult. Every funeral me go, I see people that throw down rose. It no matter to the people them. You want the love and when them in sickness and them something there. You show them love. You can't wait till them dead. You give them roses and something. That don't matter. You go buy one bundle of roses, $200, $300, the biggest bouquet. It don't matter.
Yeah. All right. Select. Hold on. So Travi, Holness's appeal. I was reading something today that it has broadened significantly, and that right now he's unbeatable. Right at this moment.
I would believe so, because his actions, his decisions keep proving to be a masterstroke. I remember when it was the Cuban doctors conversation and everybody was flaring up the detractors, and that played out in his favor so beautifully.
Yes,
and then you have the Venezuela situation that is kind of ongoing right now. But the early naysayers and the early front runners run out and said a barrage of things. And as we see things
is it true, as it's been said in Jamaica, that Jamaica has virtually missed something? Because had the PNP won September 3rd, they probably would have aligned themselves with...
I strongly believe that. I strongly believe that. I share that sentiment. If the PNP had gone into power, we would be in trouble right now. And it would have gone as far back as the Cuban situation, because they were loud-mouthed about that. As a matter of fact, they were loud-mouthed about the Israel-Palestine situation, and they were very vocal wanting the prime minister.
My understanding is that there are evil MPs in Jamaica that can't get visa. because of their affiliation with that regime. Don't say no. Leave that alone.
Yes.
And it is true.
But the truth is, they have been public with their comments and actions. They have been public. And one thing's for certain, this administration in the United States, they pay attention and they will hold you to your action.
You better know that. Yeah. Travi, how is it that we're going to begin a conversation that interests Jamaicans so that when they go to the polls, they are more informed and stop voting on chaos and rubbish? How are we going to better equip our people to make better decisions at the polls?
So right now, at the moment, I would say the younger generations are the ones who are being informed and making the wise decision. According to the poll numbers and early research done into the polls, that Mr. Holness would have gotten a large block of the young people vote. Now, my idea is to focus on the people that aren't so hell-bent on the old-time politics. You're able to reach them because they're of a newer generation. They're benefiting from their policy, from your policies. Their outlook for the future is quite similar to what we're striving to get. And if you focus on those and focus on making opportunity for the young people as they come along, you'll find that sooner rather than later we'll be in a generation that is more well-thinking and is susceptible to deciphering the truth and accepting the truth and making better choices.
Now, do you see any signs that the People's National Party is about to reform itself? Because right now they are in a pretty bad spot, I think. Not clearly defined in terms of who they are. My understanding is that the leader is about to face a challenge in this year.
The signs are many. The challenge to the leader should not have come. What should have happened is the current leader should have stepped down, as of what is customary with that party and their leader losing a general election. He didn't just lose a general election, but he lost local government and then coming to lose the general election. And to fire the general secretary and not remove himself is counterproductive to what that party stands on.
Yeah. Are you of the view, like many, Travi, that this opposition leader has been very divisive and is responsible for some of the divisions in the country, including misinformation?
Yes, I am of that view. It is quite clear. I wanna, you know what? One of the things that he did that struck me most, that this man is very, very disingenuous and divisive. I remember in the 2024 budget presentation, he stood up and allowed his mouth to say that this government had doubled the taxes on every Jamaican man, woman, and child. And neighbor, that is the furthest thing from the truth. The economy has expanded. The Jamaican people have more spending power, so the tax income will go up. And he tried to deceive Jamaicans to state that the tax income has gone up, without saying that, hey, there's more money in the country, so the tax intake will go up. And you see, that type of rhetoric will trick a lot of people who has no financial, at least financial common sense, neighbor. It will trick a lot of people. It will trick a lot of people.
Like when they said that the government increased taxes because the government was collecting more money from taxes. Not the same as an increase.
That's what he was trying to come across with. And I was like, you see, taxes is what run the country, right? It is a big part of what's it called? We put our money in, we put the consolidated fund that pays for everything in this country. And if you are willing to politicize and play games around that, you are dangerous and reckless. If you try to tell the people and say you not pay too much taxes, how will you fund the countries? And then boom, when we look at your campaign, you were promising so much. And that's why when the people of Jamaica say, how you going to pay for this? Because you were giving $1 billion to TikTokers, you build house in a swamp, you give away this, you're just giving and giving and giving. $3.5 million tax threshold. How will it be paid for? To this day, they have not answered that question. To this day, they haven't answered the question. So they are playing politics and games with their income and promising so much. On the other hand,
Boy, sir, it was nice having you. You mustn't stay away so long, man. Come along and join me.
No, at the rent money, them do want, man. At the rent money, them want.
True. Neighbor, sometimes I send requests and you know.
Sorry. How au fait are you with Plan Secure Jamaica? How much do you know that document?
I know it to a very decent degree. I won't say I know it back and forth and back, but I know it to a decent degree, and I side with you that is a very comprehensive document. It is a
you see what happens, is that I think that the people of Jamaica needs to be able to make the link between what is happening and the plan.
The document they come like project 25, you know.
Yes. You see, we see things happening in our society, but we are going to respect our leaders, Travi, when we understand that they really sat down and did serious work.
Yeah.
Did you know I heard the Prime Minister saying that he was doing some research the other day about Jamaica's performance, about Jamaica's response to the hurricane. Sometimes we do not show the type of respect and regard for these people, Travi. They really work, with their consultants. They work.
But I lift my hat after you. That is so true. Yeah. Hard work. This is hard work. And even Plan Secure Jamaica, as you mentioned, and even the hurricane, it is no easy feat. People can sit down on TikTok and say anything they want to say, but this is not easy work to run this country, and to the level that this country has been running at. It is not easy work.
No, sir.
I am of the view, and I would want to ask the Prime Minister if I get a chance. How much hours throughout his day do we spend working? Because I really do believe this man is running off maybe like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and the other 18 hours is spent working for Jamaica.
Now, how do you feel? What do you feel about the attacks that he has come under, Travi? Because he really has come under a lot of attack. How do you feel about how he's personally attacked? How does it make you feel?
It's disheartening. I'm very saddened by it. But you know why, neighbor? Because I said, what if this was my son? What if this was me? What if this was my brother? Yes. And that is why I became so vocal on TikTok, because when I see the level of unfair and unjust pressure that he comes under, I could not keep quiet.
Yes.
And as I unearth something that I realized to be unjust and unfair, it keeps me looking into everything now. Because I feel looking at everything now. Because neighbor, imagine if they never took them to court for the Zozo. Imagine if the PMP never took them to court for NIDS. These are plans that are vital that they attack and brought down. But the ones that they could not bring down, we see such great benefit in them. Can you imagine if these plans were allowed to come to fruition?
Yeah. Do you agree? Do you agree, Travi, that Wholeness is probably at this time a great leader? Would you say that? And probably the best Jamaica has had?
Yes, he is. Definitely the best PM in my lifetime.
Better than PJ?
PM. Best PM in my lifetime. As a matter of fact, I am actually I'm a Westmorite, so I have seen the brunt of PJ's work. I have seen it, and it is underwhelming. It is underwhelming and not celebrated.
What you think about the SSL matter?
The SSL matter is playing out perfectly. I did not want it to go to the courts without a case being built, and I've realized that MOC and the FID has built their case, and as such they have started to act. And when I look at it, the people that are having questions, that I had questions about, are the ones they're actually charging. Because there's no way on earth such a huge amount of money missing without some powerful signature on this. This is not a cash register.
About your time. Take care yourself.
Cash register here.
Select International. Bye-bye. Take care, Travi.
Blessings, man. Much respect.
All right.
Deserve about 3 hours to that.
Bye-bye. listeners, that's it for me today. That's it for me today. Until tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, and catch you tomorrow. Continue to bring the information to you, and please remember to support Politics Plus. We can't continue without you, Do you have a contribution for us today? Then you could send it to 954-635-8732. That's the Zella code. 9 o'clock tomorrow, 9 in the a.m. Dennis Thomas, 180, great night. 416, one side, great. So we're on tomorrow between 9 and 10 o'clock. Between 9 and 10, and then we'll be back at 7, between 7 and 9 o'clock. Your neighbor and Caroline holding it down for you. And you. Take care of yourselves.